This morning, we are setting time aside to honor Helen Chionsini, who I mentioned died this last summer. Helen grew up in this church along with many of our high school seniors. Her mom, Sarah Beth, taught in our classrooms. Her absence has had a profound impact on how those in her cohort experienced church over this past year. It has been painful to be in this space without her. Some of those youth want to share with you their memories of Helen this morning.
To me, Helen was always one of the most vibrant forces I had ever seen. I remember my first waffle breakfast, seeing them and thinking that they were one of the coolest people in the world. And I felt so awkward standing next to them and thought that they'd realize that I wasn't cool enough to be friends with. But they never did. And so we were friends for 12 years. I remember we used to scheme together. Most vividly, one of the church overnights when we were 10 or 11 or so, we stole a pack of Oreos from the table of the potluck that we were having, and we brought them into, I think it was the chapel. There was a balcony up there, and we somehow managed to get up there. Everyone was having sword fights with swords made out of balloons, and we were chasing people around, and somewhere in the chaos, we managed to escape to the balcony and eat these Oreos and just talk. And I remember that so vividly. Helen's mischief, their sense of humor, the smile. The last time I saw them in a church context was at the church retreat in 2022, and things felt different. We had grown, we had changed, but we still had that connection. And I remember on the last night before we went back, we went and we sat under the stars with some of the other teenagers, and we just marveled at how big they were and how small we felt. And I just remember lying on the ground, arm in arm. And that is the most recent and strongest memory I have with Helen.
Thank you, Claire. So I've been going to this church since I was 6 years old, and when you're a teenager, when you're 10, 11, going to church at 11 a.m. on a Sunday morning isn't always your first choice. So sometimes, admittedly, I would go to my class, kind of not really want to be there, but every time I was there, I would always see Helen, and they just had this joy and just this energy that lifted the whole room. And every time they would talk or I'd get in there and I'd just see them with their infectious smile, I would instantly want to be there. And all my I kind of want to be somewhere else. I want to be with my friends. I want to be watching football would all go away. And she always made me feel super welcome in the community.